everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very exciting video because we are going to be taking a look at Paul McCartney's brand new book, 1964, The Eyes of the Storm. For those of you who may not know, this book is Paul's photographic journal of the years 1963 and 1964. Although it is called 1964, it does span from the years 63 and 64, and these are the photos that he took, the things that he saw. I like to think of this as a Beatles perspective on the Beatles. It's full of so many really cool pictures that are very candid, and they really capture what it was like to be that famous during that time. And so this is really cool. It actually, the title, Eyes of the Storm, came from, and Paul mentions it in the book somewhere in here. He said that he wanted to call it The Eyes of the Storm because he wanted to capture the idea of, you know, all the photographers and the fans, you know, all eyes were on the Beatles, and then, but the Beatles were also looking back on all of those people. So it's kind of the idea, you know, this is what Paul saw, it's through his eyes, so it's the eyes of the storm rather than just the eye of the storm. So what I'm going to do is I'm just about to turn the camera around, and I'm going to show you inside and kind of what it looks like, how it's set up. I'm not going to give away too much because that would be rude to everyone involved, but I'm going to show you inside, and then I'm going to turn the camera back around and give you some of my initial thoughts on this book. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here is the cover. And this little part right here is actually, it's like a paper jacket, so it does come off and it slides around. So when you actually move it here, you can see that's what's underneath. But I do plan on keeping this on here just because I love the colors. They chose like my favorite colors ever, yellow, black, and blue, like my absolute favorite color. So I'm not gonna take that off anytime soon, but there's the cover. And then here is the spine. Here is the back cover. Alright, so opening it up here to the title page, this is what this looks like. You turn it. Paul's dedication. So here is the table of contents. And here is the foreword by Paul. Again, I'm not going to give too much away because I think that would be kind of rude. And then you have a preface and an introduction. And this might be a weird thing to point out, but the paper is actually, it's a very papery feel to it. But once you get into the actual photographs, it's a very glossy feeling to it, so it does change. And so here is how it's set up. You have each city that they went to and that are featured in this book, and over here you have a few of the pictures. And he mentions here, this is kind of interesting, if there is a red X on the picture, that it means that it was one of his favorites. So if you're looking through the book and you see a red X, it's because that was one of his favorites. So anyway, it starts off with Liverpool, and then you have, before each city, you have Paul's sort of reflection on it. So yeah, it's about 2 pages of what Paul has to say, and then you get into the photographs. And each photograph has a little kind of description by Paul, except that one doesn't. These don't either, but yeah, again, I don't want to give too much away, but here there's a few of the pictures. Yeah, here's what he had to say about that. So yeah, I mean, there's tons of amazing photos. I'm just gonna skim through a little bit, give you an idea. And I will say, the farther back you go, you do get into some color photos. Yeah, especially in Miami. So yeah. And then you have at the very end, you have another lens. And this kind of spans a few pages, and then you get into a timeline. There's some more. And then you have notes, of course. And acknowledgements. Credits. And that's it. Alright, so my initial thoughts on the book is that it is extremely cool. I was so excited to get it. I was beside myself. The mail ran and I ran outside and grabbed it. And it's so much fun. It really is. And yeah, I just really appreciate that we're still getting new releases from Paul McCartney. You know, he found these photos back in 2020. He just happened upon them and decided that he would share them with all of us as fans. So I really am glad that he decides to do that stuff, because we're getting to see the Beatles in that time in a way that I never thought we would. I never thought I would get to see things from his perspective. You know, I mean, I think we all kind of have our idea of what fame is and what it looks like. And so to get to see it from one of the most famous people in the world is so cool, because there's a few pictures in here where Paul is actually taking a picture of somebody staring at him, pretty much. I mean, they're fans, or they're just everyday people who are just completely baffled by seeing a Beatle in front of them. And so Paul will take a picture like that, and you just get to see the look in the eyes of those people. You're getting to see what it's like to be looked at as if you are this famous person. So I just think that is so cool that we get to see from that side of the lens. You know, we've seen this time in the Beatles' history, we've seen it through many different perspectives and many different documentaries, etc., but we've never gotten to see it through the eyes of Paul McCartney. So I just think that is such a cool thing to get to see. I also just love the aesthetic quality of it. It's just very nice looking. It's pretty. I love how it's black and white on the cover, which, you know, I kind of think America would have been black and white. You know, JFK had just died, America was mourning, and then the Beatles came in and were the little bit of color, which kind of is the yellow I think of on here. It pops. So I just like the aesthetic quality of this. It's nice and big. It's very heavy. When I picked up the package, I was like, oh my goodness, this is super heavy. Like, it is like a brick. I love that, because you feel like you're getting a lot for the money. But yeah, I love the way it looks. I love the way it's laid out. You really do feel like you are going back in time and seeing all the things you never thought you were going to get to see. I mean, he has pictures of their drivers, the Beatles drivers, just so many different people who you hear about and you know that they existed, but you don't have a face to put to them, and now we do. So I just think it's so cool, and I really appreciate getting to have it, and can't wait to look through it the rest of the way, because it just came a few hours ago. So I can't wait to really read the different intros and see the pictures through their proper lens, I suppose. No pun intended, although I've said lens like 14,000 times. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching my last video as well. I just really appreciate that. You guys have been so nice, and I just really appreciate it. And so thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to my channel if you wouldn't mind. I would really appreciate that. And comment and tell me what you think of this book, and if you have purchased it or are planning to, just tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much. Bye bye.